What's going on, guys? We're here with this brand new 2023 C8 Z06, looking super cool. The orange is so nice. I mean, it's even comparing it to the ZL1 Crush, this is Amplify Orange. And I'm here with Marco. He was nice enough to bring it down. And I was checking out his car, but wait a second. I thought that engine plate, I thought this was a different engine in this car, a different engine builder.
What?
Who's that? I can't even read that.
Shane Parker. That's different than
the other fellow, right?
That's different. That's a different nameplate than was on there just 2 weeks ago. What's up with that?
How'd that happen?
Well, interesting story. Driving down to South Carolina to visit Jay, put some miles on the car, get ready for our track day at VIR in a couple weeks with Track Club USA and Shelby Cobra Mustang Club, or Shelby Camaro, or
whatever it is this week.
Chevy Mustang Club. Put some miles in the car, let Jay take the car off for a drive. We were going to visit our friend William Wanderley, and leaving Jay's driveway,
I was not driving.
He was not, but we did have some GoPro video of the car. Did a slight pull from first, second, third. The street kind of veers to the left.
Hold on, we got a plane coming over.
Then I get back into the throttle for a bit, and we decelerate to a stop sign. And as we were decelerating, we heard a clunk, clunk, clunk. And I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Since we were so close to Jay's house, pulled a U-turn and the car locked up. So we got a scan tool, misfires on 1, 2, 7, and 8. The motor had locked up.
And how many miles did we have?
621.
Yeah.
And what everyone loves to do is ask, well, did they do the proper break-in?
Yep, that's a good question. Yep.
And I've purchased a number of vehicles, and I normally don't do that. This car, I took it easy. I had a GT350R, flat plane crank as well. I was very diligent about warming the motor. Plane's coming again. I mentioned in the previous video, the car has remote start, which is great. Helps warm up the car prior to hitting the road. And we actually took pictures of the car. It had plenty of heat in the oil.
Yeah, because we were over 154 degrees oil temperature. And your braking process, I mean, you kept it under the 5,000 RPM the whole time, and didn't really bang on it the whole 500 miles until the tach unlocked, right? So everything, the break-in procedure was proper.
Correct, and it's a soft limiter from the factory. If you have it in park, it will only let you rev it to, I believe, 3,000 RPM. If you hit both paddles like a GT3, you can free rev it all the way up to red line. So even during that break-in period, even though the tachometer is not opened up on the dash, you can technically still rev the car up to. I don't know if you can do this, but I know you can rev it past 4,000 or 5,000.
Yeah, yep.
That they recommend.
But yeah, you stayed within the range, so there was no reason that it should have blown up unless it was just some sort of technical issue with that engine, which that's what we suspect, because now this is engine number 2, right?
It's engine number 2.
And GM really knocked it out of the park with this. I mean, they really did amazing, didn't they, to get this thing turned around that quick?
We all heard about the customer in California, and they talked about taking about 2 months or so to get his car fixed, get a new motor. That customer, from my understanding, kept the car. GM, I'm super blown away. I thought it was going to take 2 or 3 months. I have a full track schedule ahead of us, and within a week of the car being dropped off at City Chevy in Charlotte, shout out to those guys, Ricky and Jeremy. Those guys did an awesome job keeping me in the loop. So literally 2 weeks to the day, new motors in the car, and we're starting to put braking miles on the car again.
Yeah, I mean, they did a fantastic job. It's, you know, for such a bad thing to happen to, you know, an unfortunate thing, and it's really amazing they stood behind it and got it done quick. Hopefully, if anybody else has that issue, that, you know, they'll get it turned around as quick. But overall, it's a great car, man. It's unfortunate that happened.
I did want to mention the Corvette tech really did a great job keeping me in the loop. Everybody wants to know what happened. They didn't allow, obviously, the technician to dive into the motor, which I don't see why GM would allow anyone to do that. There has not been. There's a lot of rumors out there about there's motors blowing. I know of my car, the customer in California, and the tech that I was working with, he knew of one other Z06. So if there's more, I'd like to hear about it, and, you know, share the story. And I'm super impressed with the turnaround time. And I was afraid of what was going to happen with Chevrolet. This is the 5th Corvette I've owned, and I was super impressed. They pulled a motor from the assembly line and had it at the dealership within a week. And like I said, 2 weeks ago, the motor seized up and I'm back on the road. So can't ask for more than that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and, you know, the thing is, I was riding with him when it happened, and it was nothing really wrong with what we did. There was, you can watch it and see, but the one thing I did hear when I was in the car, it sounded like it spun a rod bearing and then it locked the engine. Now, I don't know if that's true. You can just take that as a bit of speculation, but that's kind of what it sounded like to me. There was a hard knocking sound, and then all of a sudden it kind of stalled out. But overall, I can't even believe that GM got this thing fixed that fast. That's really thankful to those guys for getting all the right people involved and getting it done. So.
Absolutely. And then, you know, everyone's going to bitch and complain and, you know, gaslight the situation.
Oh, yeah.
Complain about Corvette quality and all of that. It's a brand new motor, and there's going to be problems. And, you know, am I happy it happened? Absolutely not. But the fact that they stood behind it and they're proud of this car, and I frankly am looking at putting up, you know, some personal best numbers here in a couple weeks, and looking forward to sharing those videos.
Yeah, we can't wait to see it. All right. Thanks, Marco.